So, hello everyone. Welcome back to our Python programming series where we are learning everything from scratch. So, even if you haven't tried a single line of code till now, you will be learning everything from very basic and we will be going and touching the topics of advanced little bit also. I hope you all are doing great and most importantly, I hope you have practiced the programs from our previous lecture. Programming is not a subject where you simply watch videos and become an expert. The real learning begins when you open your code editor and start typing your code yourself. Every mistake teaches you something new. So try to make mistakes so that you can learn more. So before we move forward, let's spend a few minutes revisiting our previous topic because today's lesson is very much depends upon the previous lecture. So today's topic is one of the most important topic in Python not in Python, I would say in any language in general. Today we are going to learn loops in Python. Once you understand loops properly, your programming skill will improve tremendously because almost every real world problem uses loops everywhere. So before that, let us do a little bit recap of previous lecture. In our previous lecture, we learned about decision-making statements. Decision-making statements allow the computer to decide which block of code should be executed. Think about real life. Suppose someone tells you that if it rains, carry an umbrella. Now imagine you have two situations. Situation one, okay, it is raining, so you carry the umbrella. Situation two, if it is not raining, you won't carry it. Notice that you didn't perform both actions. Only one action happened depending upon the condition. Programming works exactly the same way. The first statement we studied was the if statement. Okay, so the syntax was very simple. So first we have to write the keyword if, that and then we have to give the condition, whatever the condition we had. Then we go to the statement what we have want to print. So we have done many of examples, so I don't think so I have to do this. I'm just verbally re-explaining everything. So, for example, we are creating a program for checking the eligibility to vote. So Python first checks the condition if the age is greater than or equal to 18, which is if it is true, then yes, it is going to execute the indented block. If the condition were false, then nothing would be printed, and if block would not execute. Whatever inside this block would not be executed. If else. Now, if else. Something we don't want, sometimes we don't want that nothing, like, for example, if there is a system of checking the marks. So, okay, if a student has been passed, so the message appears, congratulations, you have passed this exam. But if students have failed, there is nothing coming out as an output. So sometimes we don't want to do nothing. Sometimes we want another action when the condition becomes false. So for that we use if else. Now Python has two choices. If first either execute the if block or execute the else block. Exactly one block will be executed. They cannot be executed simultaneously. Remember that. If your phone's battery is like around below 20%, so you will charge it. Otherwise, continue use it. You will continue that. Okay, I'm just using it again. That is exactly an if-else situation works. Now, next is if-elif-else. Suppose now we have multiple conditions, right? So since we have multiple conditions, uh, for example, a grading system that we have already done as an example in the previous video. So Python checks from top to bottom that the moment one condition would be true, Python immediately stops checking the remaining condition and prints the statement of that block. Students often think Python checks every condition. This is extremely important to remember. It does not check every condition. It stops after the first condition is true. For example, you have created seven conditions. If the first condition is satisfied, it will not check the what is the second statement was, what the third statement was, what the fourth one. It won't check it. But if the first one is false, then it moves to second. Or if second one is false, it moves to third. Similarly, whenever the condition becomes true, it skips other all the condition. It does not check every condition. So you have to remember it. Now, nested if. Okay, sorry. Nested if. Then we learned about nested if. Nested simply means something inside something. Or nested if can be meant is like an if inside another if. So here Python checks first the outer condition. If that is satisfied, then it goes under the inner condition and then print whatever the statement has to be printed. So always remember first it checks the outer condition. Only if the outer condition becomes true, it enters the inner condition. Okay. I'll give 30 seconds. Tell me which statement should be printed. Uh, if we have given the age as 22 and used our if block and else block. If block states that you are eligible to vote and else block says that you are not eligible to vote and age is 22. So what do you think? Which statement would be printed? Simply, you all know that you it will be printed that you are eligible to vote. Similarly, try to practice these programs. These are essentially important. So so far, I have our programs had one limitation. Every statement is executed only once. Whenever whatever we were writing in our previous lecture, you have written. I have to again and again run the program, and that's kind of limitation inside a Python. So for to overcome that limitation, there is another topic that we are going to learn today. So let me ask you a question first. Suppose I want to print welcome to this lecture 100 times. How will I do it? I will again and again write print welcome to this lecture. Print welcome to this lecture. I'm going to write this print function again and again and for 100 times. Again and again again. Can you imagine doing that? It is boring. It is just wasting our time. It is increasing the chances of mistakes. There is a lot of possibility that we can make errors here. There should be a solution, a smarter solution. So that smarter solution is called loops. Today's topic is loops. A loop simply means repeating something automatically. Think about your daily routine. Every morning you wake up, you brush your teeth, take a bath, eat breakfast, go to your work, come back, have your dinner. You have in the work in between of your work you have your lunch. Then you come back, you have your dinner. Then you again go to sleep. Then again in the next morning you again wake up, brush your teeth, and completely follow your daily routine. That is a loop. You repeat these tasks every day. Imagine a ceiling fan, okay? It keeps rotating continuously. Imagine a washing machine. It repeats the washing cycle till the time you set, whatever the time you set. A traffic light. It will first go to red, then yellow, then green, then again red, then yellow, then green. So everything around us contains repetition. So programming also needs this kind of repetition. That is why loops were introduced. Um, let's understand with an example. Suppose let's open our Visual Studio VS Code. Okay, so Suppose I ask a Python to print hello world 5 times. So how will I print it? First, I will write the statement. I'm just copy and pasting it because I'm not going to type it again and again. Okay. So I have printed it 5 times and I will execute it. So the statement would be, okay, just wait a minute. It is loading actually. So whenever I will be printing it, so the hello will be printed 5 times. So it does works, right? Yes, it is. Is it a good practice? Absolutely not. Right now we had to just print it for 5 times. So we did it. Okay, print hello world, hello world, hello world. Now imagine you have to do it 100 times or 500 times or 2000 times. Will you write 1000 print statements again and again? Even if you're copy and pasting it, still it is like very boring, right? So definitely not. We don't want to do like something like that. Now let's see the loop version of it. Okay. I will explain this loop version to you in a better way as we move in this video. Right now, just you have to see how it is going to work. Okay. Mhm. Okay, so it is printed. I'm just putting this in comment. I think you remember what is a comment, what a comment is. I encourage. Print. Okay, I'm using a different word to print. See, just 2 lines of code, only 2 lines. Same result, cleaner code, or a professional code we can say. So that is why loops are important. They reduce the lines of code. It improves the readability, save the development time. It reduces the chances of errors. It automates the repetitive task. So it is easy to maintain. There are these are the some reasons every programming language supports loops. Every language have loops. So without loops, you have to repeat same statements many times. And with loops, you have to write in 1 or 2 lines and it will be automatically repeated. So that is why this is more maintained and it is easier than writing it hundreds or 200 times. Okay, even in this code, if I want to print it for 20 or 100, okay, let's take a bigger number, 100 times, it would be printed very easily. So see, I'm not going to count it, but this is going to definitely be 100 welcomes here. So this is kind of little bit easier. You can even understand this with a real life example. Um, ATM machine. Suppose 10 customers are standing. Does the ATM software get a re-return for every customer? Every time there should be a person standing between there and rewrite the code again and again. No, it repeats the same operations for everyone. Now Instagram, you keep scrolling, new post appears again and again and again and again. Behind the scenes, loops are there that is giving you the taking the new post and fetching it to you. Okay. YouTube. When autoplay is on, this if you remember, YouTube has a function of autoplay that one video finishes, next video automatically starts. So what is that? Again, it is a loop. Okay, one video is completed, now move to next, then move to the next. Games. In games, characters keep moving. Enemies keep checking your position. Scores keep updating. Everything happens inside a loop. Everything happens because of a loop. So now we clearly understand why loops are required. In the next slide, we will start writing our first for loop, understand the range function in depth, and perform live coding. And we will be solving a multiple programs together. So don't worry, we will understand everything from start. So now you understand why loops are needed. We know they help us perform repetitive tasks without writing the same code again and again. The next question. How do we actually create a loop in Python? So Python provides us two major kind of loops. So before that, let me explain you this. What is a loop kind of thing? So loop is like first. Okay, I'm using some this. Okay. So first loop starts from here. For example, it says start. So we have started here. Now we have moved here. Now here it is checking the condition whether it is satisfied or not. Then it is moving downwards. So we started from here, we went here, then it's coming down. Stop when the condition becomes false, then again executes the block. So you see, it is going again and again, again and again. So start means that you have to initialize your variables or choose a sequence. Check condition says that you have to evaluate a condition. Execute says that you have to run the body or the indented block, and stop or means that whenever the condition have been stopped, you have to break the loop and come out of it. Okay, you don't have to worry about the words initialize and all. You just have to follow my instructions and listen to me carefully. Okay. So the question is, how do we actually create a loop in Python? So for that, Python provides two major types of loop, for loop and while loop. We did an example of for loop right now when we were printing welcome 100 times or 5 times, whatever we did. So for now, we are going for the for loop. Okay. Then we will be moving towards while loop. So again, remember, so the start means that the program begins. Either it initializes the variables or prepares a sequence to iterate. You don't have to worry about the word iterate and all. I will let you know as we move forward. So this is like think of it like you are ready, getting ready for starting a race. Now then we checks the condition. Should I execute the loop? If the answer is yes, then you have to continue. Otherwise, the loop should stop. Then it actually executes a loop. Python executes every statement inside the loop. Remember something very important. Only the indented statement belongs to the loop. Only that would be printed. Anything outside that indentation executes only once. What I mean by that, we will see through examples. Then step 4 is repeat. After finishing one iterate, Python again goes back, check again, and if needed, loop is going to run again. If the condition is false, since this process continues until the condition becomes false, all values are exhausted. This cycle is repeated automatically. Imagine a teacher is checking attendance. She calls the first student saying, mark the attendance. Then next student again is marking the attendance. Again next student, again the attendance. She repeats the same task until every student has been checked. This is how exactly a loop is going to work. It is going to check every condition until then the condition has been false. So now let's learn the for loop. The for loop is used whenever we already know that how many times something should happen, or when we want to go through every items in a sequence. Iteration means the same thing. What I was using the word iteration means that we have want to go everything in a sequence. Okay. So let's first No, for starting before anything, first we need to know the syntax. So, how it is going to work? Syntax is um, syntax for syntax of for loop. Let's go for that. So, let's start with syntax. The syntax was very simple. For whatever variable we want to use in sequence, whatever sequence we want, and then whatever the statement should be printed if this is printed. So there are three things that are important here. First, for this tells Python that we are creating a loop. This is also a keyword, okay? Second, the loop variable, okay? You can use anything here. For example, you can write for I in range 5. So here the I variable is a simply a variable that you can write. You can write A, B, C, D or a name. You can even write it like this. So you can write even like this, okay? Or you can go with this also. So that's not a issue. The name doesn't matter. Third is the sequence. Python needs something to iterate over, to check over. That sequence could be a list, a string, a tuple, or most commonly a range. We will understand this range function in a few minutes. So, in talking about a list, string, or tuple, we will be covering that in upcoming videos. So don't worry. Let's write our first group. So I'm writing for I, so in range 5 and print hello. So, okay, let's execute it. Okay, we have to put this in string, remember? Now let's, okay, sorry, we have to put this in. Now I put this in. Yeah. Did we write 5 print statements? No, we wrote only one statement. We wrote it only one time. The loop repeated it automatically and printed it 5 times. What if I do it like this? Instead of printing message, I print I. Why didn't it print 5? You noticed it? Many beginners' answer would be because range 5 means 5 numbers. Actually, no. It prints from 0 up to one value that is less than the given value. One less than the stopping value. The 5 is the stopping value. So it is going to, it is printing it 5 times. One, two, three, four, 5. But it is going to start from 0 and it will print until the number is less than the given number, that is the 5. This is one of the most important error student can make. So let's us understand what actually happens. So what is here? I is going to check everything that is inside this range. That means first I will check when first I will be equals to 0 and print 0. That is going here. Then I checks that I is equal to 1. Then it is going to print 1. Then I is going to again move. I is going to print 2. Then it is printing 2. Then I becomes 3. So it is again printing 3. Now I equals to 4. So it is printing 4. Now Python wants 5. Now Python wants to print 5. But the range, what we have set here, is 5. So it should end before 5. So the loops stop. We have printed it 5 times, but the numbers are only till number 4 because it is the stopping range here. The number should be stopped before the range given. So this is how exactly it's going to work. So you are seeing that instead of writing again and again, it is currently moving in a loop. First it goes for 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Okay. You can even print as much as names you want. For example, I am creating a list here. Don't worry about what a list is right now. Simply remember, list is something that whatever we are writing in this square brackets is a list, and I'm giving certain names inside it. It is a benefit of that we can save multiple data values inside this list that would be discussed more in details. So I want that name for I in names. Why should I complicate it for you? And print I, yeah, ठीक. Let's see what happens when we run it. So it has print Rahul, Priya, Aman. Okay, there is some the spaces because I have given you a space by mistake. So there is no such issues. Okay. This time Python is not generating the numbers. It is taking one item from the list we have created after every iteration, after every loop. First it is picking Rahul and printing it. Then it is picking Priya, then printing it. So I is something is like a cursor that is moving again and again in this list and printing whatever we want to print. You can even print through a number. For example, I am creating a word Python here. Okay. So for I in it, and I want to print I. What do you think it will print? I am iterating through a string right now. I hope you remember the string, right? I'm just iterating through a. So what is happening here? First I moves to P and print it. Then again loop starts. Then it moves to Y and print it. So here this is shows that string is also a sequence. You cannot print P first, then T first, or H first. It is moving in a sequence. So for that, you can try an activity that write a loop that prints your own name for 5 times. Try it before watching the further video. And if there is an error, let me know. I'll help you definitely. Let's discuss some mistake that beginner could make. So remember here is a colon. Missing colon can create a syntax error because then this part, this print function will not be indented against this. I've already explained you about this in the if statement too. Then the second, okay. Then the next error that you could even make is wrong indentation. That means instead of printing it in the for giving the space or giving the indentation that is of 4 spaces here, you print it like this, then this is a separate line and this is a separate line. So it will throw an indentation error. This should be a one tab space, the tab key inside your keyboard, or you can create by 4 backspaces. So always remember the body should be indented. Third, you are writing something that is not a Python syntax. You have instead of writing I in names, you put it like I equals to name. So this is not a Python syntax. So remember the syntax has been followed by you. Now we are going to study the range function that we are talking about. So far we have used range many times, but what exactly is it? The range function creates a sequence of number. Okay. It doesn't immediately creates a list. Instead, it generates number one by one that we have tried in these examples too. It generates number one by one, making Python more uh, memory efficient. Okay. For example, if I am asking range 5, so what it is going to produce? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is going to by default start from 0 because it is a default value, and stop because 5 is exclusive. Stop is excluded. This 5 is something that is excluded. Okay. Since we have done that for a simple statement, don't worry, I'm going to write it again for I in range. Since it's a function, so these brackets must be there. Remember, 5, and I want to print whatever the I is fetching, I want to print that only. So since it's a number, so it is going to fetch the numbers. Now, if I change the range, I make it 2 comma 8. Now it produces the result from 2 at, but why not 8? Because the stopping value is exclusive and we have given the stopping values. Okay, now don't be worried what is happening here. I have right now what we were doing was simply writing 5 and it was doing it works. It is a default value or it can be written as this. That means the default value of starting should be 0. Since it's a Python always start from 0, but don't write it, but you can either write it like that or simply write it from this if you want your values to be started from 0. If you want that your value should start from 2, for example, that we have already created here in example. So I want my value to be start from 0, 2 and it should go till 5. Okay. But 5 should be exclusive. I don't want 5 to be printed. So it is going to print 2, 3, 4. So this is how it is a starting value. Remember. So this is the starting value. This is the stopping value. Okay. Now this there is one more thing you can do is 1, 10, and 2. Now there is a third parameter included. That is called step. Let me just okay. Now you can see only the from 1 to 10 the numbers have been printed, but only the odd numbers have been printed. Every iteration would be jumping by 2. Every iteration Python jumps by 2. What do I mean by that is first it print 1, then for example let me print a sequence of numbers. Okay, 1, 2. mm, let's do a task. Let me print first like this only. Why do I have to do all the So here are the numbers. Now you are seeing in the first previous example what we did, we added a 2 here. So what it is doing, instead of all the sequence, it is going to jump by 2. Here this 2 means that this after this number that should be skipped. For example, I have printed 1 because that is the starting value. This is the stopping value. So I started from 1, 1, 2. That means after this 2 should be skipped. After printing 1, this 1 and 2 should be skipped. Okay, then it is skipped. Then what is going to print? 3. Now the cursor is on 3. Now 3 is, then we count from 3 again. 1, 2. Now 4 has been skipped. Then it is printing 5. Then try, again the cursor is on 5. Now start from again. 5, 6. Then it is going to print 7. Similarly, it is going for 9. What if I want to skip 3 values? Then what do you think our result could be? 1, 4, 7. How? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, after printing 1, 1, 2, 3 should be skipped. So it is jumping from 1 to 3 and printing 4. Now initially the cursor is here. So 4, 5, 6 is skipping 4, 5, 6 and moving to 7, 8, 9. Since the range have been stopped, it is not printing anything. Okay. You can even go backward counting also. Okay. Let me give you an example of backward sequence also. What I would do is, since I want to print 10 numbers, so I will start, since I want to start it from back, and I want to print from 1 to or 10 to 0, for example. So I'm printing 10. That will be my starting value. Then it should move to 0. It should be completed till 0 since we are going backwards. And it should be -1. Let's see what happens. It is giving me the backward kind. So loops are limited to counting upward. It's going to go downwards also. Think of a climbing stairs. If you climb normally, you move one step at a time. That's step one. If you skip every alternate stairs, that's step two. If you're coming down, that's step -1, right? Exactly how range behaves. One of the most beginner mistake is assuming range 5 includes the number 5. Remember, the starting is included, but the stopping value is excluded. If you remember this rule, you will avoid many logical errors in the loops. Okay. Now you can do a mini assignment or something. Print numbers from 1 to 20, or print only the even numbers from 1 to 20. Try solving them on your own. Don't worry if you make mistakes. That is how you are going to learn. That is how a programming is learned. Okay. Now let's move to next. Uh, okay. Now, so far we have learned about our first loop, the for loop. The for loop is excellent when you know how many times should be repeated because we know the how many times we have to repeat it. But what if you are entering your password? Do you know how many attempts you need before entering the correct password? Maybe once, maybe twice, maybe 5 times. Since we don't know beforehand, the for loop isn't the best choice to be choose, right? This is where while loop comes into the picture. The while loop executes a block as long as the condition is true. Unlike the for loop, the while loop is condition based rather than the counting based. So this is how a while loop is going to work. Remain Now let's start syntax for while loop. So it is very comparatively little bit simpler. You just have to use the keyword while condition and the statement that should be printed. While the condition is true, keep executing the statement. This is like a simple English. The moment the condition becomes false, the loop will be automatically stopped. Let us do a live example. I am putting an variable I and starting it from 1 while I is less than equal to 5, print I and I plus equals to 1. Now let's execute it and see what is happening. Okay, okay. So let us print and see what is happening. So it is printing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's understand what Python is doing internally. first we what we do, the variable is going to start from variable that value 1 because we have given the value. Then Python checks while the statement that is 1 less than or equal to 5. Yes, since it's true, so it prints I, whatever we wanted, that variable I. And then we have used an assignment operator here, if you remember, that is, this is also mean. You can write this thing also like this. I is equal to I plus 1. I have told you this is this operator is used when we have to update the value. So what are we doing here? First we give initialize the value that okay, it is going, we declared the value that okay, I should be starting, value of I should be 1. Then checking the condition that 1 is less than or equal to 5, which is true. So print I. So the value of I was 1. So it is printing 1. Now I want to move to the next number. So what I am doing is whatever the I is, whatever the here is printed, add 1 here and then again start the loop. This is what this assignment operator is used to do. This is exact same of this version. Okay. So remember like this only. This is a shorter version and this is the longer version. You can write both, but I would recommend you this version because this is something that a programmer should use. Okay. So now since I moved here, I updated its value, whatever the I was, add 1 into that. Since I was 1, so now it became here 2. So again is loop going to start. So 2 is less than 5. Okay, true. Now print I. So I here was now became 2. So it is going to print 2. And now it is coming here. Now it is saying that whatever the value was I has been printed, add 1 to it. So now it becomes 3. Similarly, it is going to check that 3 is less than equal to 5. Again it prints, again it increases, again it checks. Now, when the value becomes I equals to 6, the Python checks is, for example, I because it becomes 5. So here it checks, is 5 less than or equal to 5? Since 5 is not less than 5, but it is equal to 5, this condition is true. It is printing I, that is 5, and updating its value now. Now it's will be 6. The process it continues until I is equal to 6 because after it becomes 6, you can see that condition is becomes false. Since the condition here is false, the iteration has been stopped. The loop has been stopped. So this is how a while is going to work. So remember this. So remember this is for uh, updating your current value. I know this might be a little bit confusing, but you will get used to it. Whenever you feel confused, always try to dry run your these iterations. Professional programmers also do this. This will help you to know what is the program going to give as per the output. Now, imagine filling a water bottle. While the bottle is not full, keep pouring the water. The moment the bottle becomes full, stop pouring. This is exactly how a while loop is working. Okay. Now, what if I want to print a string, a name or string something? So I'm going to do nothing. I'm just instead of printing I, that were the numbers, I'm adding hello world. Simple thing. Let's see. It is simply printing it 5 times. Now, I gave you the first logic as numbers because that was little bit better for a beginner to understand what is the logic doing. So what is here is going is first the I is printed first time, then the value is operated, then it is going again and again until the condition has been satisfied. So it is printing like that. You can even print even numbers also. What I'm going to do is putting the value of I equals to 2 because The smallest even number we are going is for 2. Okay. I want the number to be printed from 2, so I'm starting from 2. And I want this to be printed till 10. And I want print numbers only. So let's see. Only, okay, sorry, but since we are doing, this is helping us to skip now. Skipping the value. What do I mean by that? See, since we have printed 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm giving you the example from here. So what it is going to start from here. Then it is checking the condition that is true. Then printing its value 2. Then I asked you whatever the I was, add the value 2 in that. Whatever the I was, add 2 in that. So after adding 2, that would immediately becomes 4. So it is a trick to print even numbers. Okay. So let me do a thing. What if this is confusing you that why do we need to like update the value for skipping it or updating the value? Let's do a thing. What is happening? What do you think? You should be thinking that okay, the number should be printed till 10. But no, it is printing forever. See, this is not stopping. I'm even see it has been printed this much time, and if I leave this for few hours, see I'm scrolling it to down and it is still printing actually. As much as I'm going to move down, it is going down and down and down. Because I is never going to change. The condition will always be remaining true. And this is called an infinite loop. And infinite loops never stops because the condition never becomes the false. This is the limitation if you are not using or updating the values. This condition may never stop. If you are printing hello here, this continues forever unless we stop the program manually by ourselves. So how to stop it in VS Code if you want to know, press Control and C. Okay. Now I'm telling you how much have been printed till now. So till here it has been stopped. Okay. Now it is not moving down. So either you can do this or you can stop using, you can do press the stop button. In Jupyter notebook, if you're using Jupyter notebook, click the interrupt kernel button. Okay. So that will stop it. So don't worry. When should we use while and when should we use for? You have to remember whenever we don't know beforehand how many times the loop should be executed. For example, a ATM pin or a login system or waiting for user input or connection, internet connection. So then we use while loop. Okay. Whenever we knows how many times we have to repeat, then we go for the for loop. Now loop control statements. So far, our loops execute every iteration. But what if we want to control its behavior? Programs have three special statements for that. You remember statements, right? I have already introduced about all these terminologies in our uh, like second or third lecture. Okay, that were the Python fundamentals. Okay, so first is break, then continue, then pass. So let's study each one very carefully. The word break literally means stop immediately. Okay. So since there is a code, so it states that for I in range 10, whatever the range was, we have set the range. If now we have put it a if condition side is because this is a conditional statement. If I is equal to 5, break the statement. What do you think the output would be? The output, let's see by printing it by ourselves instead of for I in range n, if I is equal to 5, break, break, otherwise print I. Let's see what happens. Why did not it print 5? Because when I said if I is equal to 5, Python should break it and immediately exit the loop. Imagine you are searching for a friend in a classroom. The moment you find them, do you continue checking every student? No, no. You stop immediately. This is exactly how a break is going to work. If you even change the condition, that would work accordingly. Okay. So what is happening for, I hope you understand till here. What I'm saying is it should continue printing since it is a simple statement what we have learned till here. We know how to print a function. What I did is I just added one more statement that I want if I becomes 5, then you should break it. So remember, now this is a separate block. This is a separate block, and this is a block that is included in the for loop. These both are included in for loop, but that break one is included inside its if block. If first it is going to print 1 and check this condition, if it is not satisfied, then it is going to print I. Okay, so it is going in a sequence. That is why it is called that it is going in a sequence. Okay, now if I want it to break with while loop, I'm just commenting it and you can see the difference. I'm initializing a value while true. I'm already setting its condition to be true. Print I. Um, if I is equal to 5, then you should break it. Uh, Otherwise, keep updating its value to 1. Okay, yeah, let's see. So, what is happening? It is the same thing only. Only the difference is it is doing the same thing. It is going to print as till uh, okay. Only the difference is as soon as it came to 5, it got break because it is going in a sequence. And here the sequence and here the sequence is very much different. First, it is going to print 1, 2, 3, 1. Then check the condition, not satisfied, update the value. Now value is 2. Then again now the condition is true. So 2 is printed, check the value, then again 3, 4, 5. Now when it comes to 5, it prints 5, then checks the condition. Now it is going to break that and it is not going to move further. So this is how it is different of break statement is working little different in for loop comparing to the while loop. Now continue statement. The continue statements behaves differently. It does not stop the loops. It skips the current iteration. What do I mean by that is, for example, in okay, it was breaking as soon as we check the condition. Okay, this condition has been satisfied, so it is breaking the loop. I'm just key changing the word statement here. I am putting it as continue. Okay, now let's see what happens. It is printing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but not 5. Notice only 5 is skipped. The loops is continuing, but the 5 The 5 is skipped. Suppose teacher is taking attendance. One student is absent. The teacher skips that student and continue taking the attendance. That is exactly continuous like. Okay. Uh, Even if you want to print only the odd numbers, you can do it like this. I'm just putting what is the condition for the even numbers? I have to just skip the even numbers, then only the odd numbers would be printed, right? So I'm using that logic. If the condition of this even number is satisfied, you have to skip only that part. So it is printing the odd numbers. So what is the difference between a break and continue? Break stops entire loop. Loop will be ended, used when task is completed. Now continuous only skips one iteration. Loop is not going to end, it is going to continue. Used when we have to ignore some case. Okay. Now the third control statement is pass. Many students find it confusing because actually pass does absolutely nothing. Uh, Let me give you an example. Only the statement completed has been printed. The loop runs, but no action is performed. So why do we use pass? Suppose you are planning your program, but haven't written the logic yet. Instead of leaving the block empty, you write pass. You don't want anything to be written here because it is mandatory as per syntax that something should be written. But you don't want to give something as an output, so use pass. This avoids syntax error and lets you complete the logic later. Okay. You can use it in if statement also. Program continues. Okay. So this is how it is going to work. Let's move to next topic. Nested loop. So everyone, we have now learned important loops. That is the for loop, the while loop. We also explored the three loops: control statement, break, continue, and pass. Now it's time to move to the concept that often beginners find very challenging. But once you understand the logic, it will be very easy for you. That concept is nested loop. Similar to nested if statement, nested loops is loop inside a loop. Don't worry if you have never seen a loop, nested loops before. By the end of the lecture, you will understand not only how they work, but also why they are used in real world programming. So, what exactly is a nested loop? The word nested simply means one thing inside another. A box inside a box, a room inside a room, a folder inside a folder. Similarly, uh, nested loop means loop inside a loop. The outer loops first run for every iteration. The inner loop completes all the iterations. What do I mean by that? For I'm just giving you an example now. For I in range 3, simple. For j in range 3, print both I and j. Okay. So let's not run this immediately. Instead, let understand it step by step. Initially, I is 0 here. Okay. In this statement, initially I is 0. Now, the inner loop start. For the outer loop, I is 0. For outer loop, when I is 0. Okay. First, I would be 0 since the default value is 0. So we are going from 0. And now inner loop would start. Okay. That is J. So for inner loop, how inner loop is going to work? The value of J first becomes 0. and it is going to print. Okay, so here I will be giving you the value, and here I will be printing what is going to print. Mm, Let me do here. It will be j values, and here will be I comma j value. What would be the I comma j would be printing? Okay, so you don't have to get confused. I'm trying to dry run it for you. Okay, so we are going to start from here. So when j is 0, when j is equal to 0, since I is still 0, I have not moved. First I is 0 and loop for inner loop will be continue moving it. So now value would be 0, 0, comma 0, because j is also 0, I is already 0. It is not moving. Then, then now I am making j 1. Now value of j has been changed. It would be 0, comma 1, since I have not changed till now. Now again 2. Now the value of j has been updated, but still I is same. This is how it is going to work. So it is going to print 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2. Now the outer loop will increase because 3 is the range for j and 3 is the range for I. Since 3 will be not included, so it is now updating the value. Now I becomes 1, and this j will again start from 0 only. Only the I value would be updated. So it's 1, 1 and 1, 2. Now, after this is done, then again I value would be updated to 2, and this becomes 2, becomes 2, and this becomes 2. So output should look like this, whatever I have written. Okay, and let's run it now. So it is printing what I have said: 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2. Notice something, the inner loop runs completely every time. Whole iteration is completed, but outer loop is not doing the same thing. Outer loop is executed once, then inner loops continue, continue, continue until the condition becomes false. Then outer loop will be updating. Okay, this is the golden rule for nested loops. So if you want an example, imagine a school. There are three classrooms. Each classrooms have five students. Principal visits classroom 1, meet all 5 students. Classroom 2, again meet all. 3, again meet all. The classroom represent the outer loop and the students represent the inner loop. This will be very much helpful in printing patterns, star pattern, number patterns, multiplication, matrices, chessboards, Sudoku, Excel like tables, whenever the data or row column are there. We are going to do multiples of programming practice in just in a while, so don't worry. These are something you are going to try. So let's solve some complete programs. I strongly recommend that after watching each program, you pause the video, type it yourself. Okay. So first we are printing numbers from 1 to 10 that we already have done. Still I'm doing it for I in range 1 to 11. I am starting it like this and print I. I think I don't have to explain you why it started from 1 and why it stopped at 10. Okay, because 11 is the stopping value. So 10 would be printed because stopping value is excluded. Now, even if you have to put print up to even numbers from 1 to 10, just put a condition here. If I modulus 2 is equal to 0, okay, you want to only, let's do a, I want to print even numbers. Then continue. I'm using the continue statement. That is much easier for me. And let's see what happens. Simply even numbers have been printed. Okay. Now, if you want to print a multiplication table, number, I am taking it as an user output. Enter the number of, enter the number. Simple. Let's keep it simple. For I in range in print it something like this. Print our number, then x. Since I will let you know what I am doing. Then I, then equal to, then number into I. I. So, for example, I want a table of 3. So what is happening here? I'm printing the number what I wanted. Then x because table is printed like that. Then I because it is going to iterate from 1 to 11. That means 1 to 10 number would be printed. So then I equals to as a string because that is the format, and 3 number into I whatever the number is multiplied to the iteration, 3 into 2, 3 into 3, 3 into 4. So this is a multiplication. So these are some programs. You have to now print odd numbers by yourself, and you have to do a reverse counting by yourself, and we are going for factorial we are going to do because that is a little bit tougher one. First I am going to write the code, then I explain you each. Now factorial, if you know, factorial is that we keep multiplying the numbers. For example, you want to know the factorial of 6. So factorial skip of 6 would be 5 into 4, sorry, 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So this is how factorial goes. So let's see. So this is the number. First we have entered the number. Then we made the factorial as 1 for the initially. Now I going to iterate from 1, and whatever the number we suggest here, it will add 1 here so that the number we want should be printed. Okay. Then what are we doing? We are updating the values by multiplying each by the factorial. It is going to continue until the range has been satisfied. So, for example, I want to print the factorial of 5. So it is going to, yeah, just factors. So it is going to print 5. And so these are the numbers it has been printing. So this is how it is going to work. So answer is 120 at the last. So remember, if I now the by using this program, tell me what is the factorial of 0. Okay. So so far we have done some things. Okay. Some um, Common mistakes in loops before we end today's lecture. Forgetting the colon, incorrect indentation, and then using range function, expecting if you're entering range equals range and under that braces you are adding 5, expecting that 5 would be printed. Getting to update the value in a while loop, it will lead to infinite loop. Confusion, you have a confusion between break and with continue. If you avoid these mistakes, you will save a lot of time. And we have understood why loops are needed, how for loop works, how range function works. We studied while loop, when to use it. We learned how about infinite loops, how to avoid them. We explored break, continue, pass. We understood nested loops. Finally, we solved some problems. That's enough for today, I guess. I have given you some of the practice programs that I've showed you here. You have to try it by their own. In our next lecture, we will begin with strings in Python and we will be learning plenty of hand-on coding. So, if you found this lecture very helpful, make sure to practice every program on your own. Programming is a skill that improves with the practice, not by watching the videos. If this session made you something learn, so consider it and don't miss the upcoming lectures in the Python. If you have any doubt or question, you are free to ask me. I'll find my best way to answer them. Thank you for watching. Keep practicing and keep coding. I'll see you in the next lecture.